Surprise! It's not Tuesday.
It's not.
It's not Tuesday, and we are live for a bonus Liam and Joe show. Can you just look at OBS, make sure the audio is working? Make sure it's bouncing on OBS.
Oh, it's like I'm your,
it's like
your slave.
Is it bouncing? Can they hear me?
It's bouncing.
Good, perfect.
Bouncing like the club.
OBS has been playing around with the sound a lot lately, and so I just need to make sure we're safe. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the Liam and Joe show. If you're new here, please make sure you smash the magical subscribe button. If you enjoy our content, hit that like button for us. Otherwise, hit the bell notification icon so you get notified every single time we go live. Right?
More bells.
Like
all the
today,
time.
if you didn't know we were going live today, the bell notification might have told you that we were going to go live as a surprise. Otherwise, if you are in fact a member, and there has been 2 incredible gifts already from Crisis and Nordost, if you're a member, you can be in Discord, and Discord will notify as long as you've got the right reaction role every time we go live as well, or we drop a video. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us on this incredible Thursday.
I don't think I'm going to be on tonight.
Why?
I sat in Lucy's chair and I forgot to put it back up again.
Oh, we might get murdered.
Yeah.
You might be murdered dead. So, why are we doing a bonus stream? Well, we did talk a little bit last night on the 40k show about what was going on at 3 o'clock in the morning here in UK time. So, this morning for us, last night for some of you people, about the AdeptiCon reveals, specifically the big major announcements they were teasing. And they were teasing pictures of a Terminator and pictures of a Tyranid and all that kind of stuff. And I said, I'm pretty sure I thought it was going to be Space Hulk. How wrong was I? I didn't watch the stream last night at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've not been sleeping well lately. Actually, I was talking to Bridget last night, and I've been kind of a bit like hobby burnout, kind of not that excited until this morning, Joe. And I woke up and made my way to social media and made my way to the Warhamster community page and read everything. And I have been like a small little child this morning, as you will attest to.
Yeah.
I have been so excited.
Yeah.
So AdeptiCon, the reveals happened, right? Obviously, Dante got spoiled, but some other reveals happened, and ultimately, Dante being spoiled didn't seem to spoil the party for Games Workshop.
No.
The 2 major things that I think we're interested in is the announcement of 10th edition in the summer, and then the announcement of the return of the Lion. Lionel L. Johnson. Lionel Johnson is coming back to the 41st millennium with a model. I have never liked a loyalist model so much as I like Lionel Johnson.
I would argue that it's probably nicer than the Heresy model.
It is absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait, and I will be selfishly keeping him for myself. And Joe will also tell you that it instantly made me start building Azrael this morning. I'm so excited.
It's just like a child. Every day is something new.
I'm so excited. We'll talk a little bit more about the line in a bit. The big thing, actually, was the announcement of 10th edition. Now, Joe and I have done a number of streams. I've also done a number of other streams on the 40k shows talking about what we don't like in 9th edition, what we do like in 10th edition, what we think they should do. And you'll notice the title of the stream, Games Workshop, listen to everything we said. Well, that's a bit of clickbait.
Specifically us. No one else.
Specifically us, and that's why it's a bit of clickbait, because clearly we haven't told them what to do and they've listened to us. I did do a feedback session with the rules team about what I wanted to see in 10th edition like 6 months ago, and I'm not suggesting for one moment that everything I told them is exactly what they've done, right? That's not true. That's just not true.
I just sent them a large poster that says, "Stop it, it's already dead."
However, if you look at everything we've talked about over the course of the last few months, actually a lot of what we've mentioned has kind of come to pass.
Even me saying what I wanted the Terminators to be.
So we said this last week,
Yeah.
Terminators. We said Primaris Terminators, yes or no? And we said what they should do is just upscale current Terminators. That's it. And that's exactly
So
what they did.
is they got on the phone to China and be like, stop making them.
Pause.
Take off the top hats. Put them in, just make Terminators bigger. And then they got them printed and painted in a week. Yeah.
So those new Terminators, that's the first time I've ever been excited about Loyalist Terminators, apart from Deathwing Knights. Now I'm excited about, they just look like stood next to another Terminator. Even the way the heads sit, they look more in proportion. They just look better.
Well, like I said the same. I just want them to be, I want to have an essence of movement about them. Because all Terminators are currently braced like they're in a gale.
Yeah.
Whereas now they actually feel like they're doing something.
So first of all, what we'll start with, I'm going to talk about the bit that the reveal did, and then we'll talk about
We should really plan what we do in these things.
I
feel like I rock the boat too much.
You do rock the boat a lot.
Yeah.
People like it. It's fine.
Right.
I have a plan for it. I don't tell you the plan, Joe, so we can actually get you to react. So the first thing we'll talk about, that we will showcase yesterday, was the reveal trailer. Top work on the reveal trailer. I've watched it 5 times. It is incredible.
Yeah. It takes me back to like the Dawn of War intro trailers.
Yeah, one thing I will say is supposedly they've made the Lion look a little bit like Tywin Lannister, and on that reveal trailer, Joffrey is there apparently, and he's the Primark of the Ultramarines.
Yeah, he is basically he is older, more hench Joffrey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the reveal trailer, right? We see Gullyman kind of kneeling down, bit pissed off, bit upset,
talking to Sanguinius,
working hard at Sanguinius' tomb, right? And then there's action footage of Primaris Marines that also aren't what we've seen before. Interestingly,
yeah.
So there's Primaris Marines. We have sat through the video and we've paused at multiple points. There's Primaris Marines with combi weapons, which we haven't seen before. There's non-Black Templar Marines with those stupid long barrel flamers.
I quite like those. I'm a big fan of them.
That we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
There's obviously the new Terminators, the upscale Terminators, which are just incredible. Yeah. And what else? There was something else we saw. Oh, we saw First Company Primaris veterans for Ultramarines as well, because they had the white helmets.
Yeah, because they had the tyrannic, the colour scheme you associate with the tyrannic war veterans with the white,
which is interesting,
white pauldrons, yeah.
Because if you read the blurb, if you listen to any of the announcement videos, they have stated that this particular part of the narrative, this progression in the 40k narrative, will be known by the Imperium as the Fourth Tyrannic War.
Yeah.
So it is the Fourth Tyrannic War. We've got a major expansion in the narrative. They thought Leviathan and was it Leviathan or Behemoth were all but defeated.
Yeah. No, it's gone horribly, horribly wrong.
It's gone horribly, horribly wrong.
Also, what else is in the video? The Redemptor.
The Redemptor, not Redemptor.
Because
in fact, so not Redemptor that Bron, when he watched it on his phone this morning, thought it was just an upscale normal Dreadnought.
I watched it on my phone, and I watched it on my phone at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was very tired, and I couldn't figure out how to make it full screen, so I had to watch it in the little window.
Yeah.
On my screen, and I was like, Spud knots! Spud knots are back! and then a few hours later, when I was wore awake, and I figured out how to get it to go into the full screen, and I paused it. I was like, it's a Redemptor Dreadnought, but it's got 2 arms, which I said I wanted when they released the Brutalis. Yeah. So again, just listen to everything we say. And then, right, they've made a Phobos. He gets a lot of airtime. I said this earlier.
Phobos Lieutenant.
The Phobos Lieutenant, who's just an absolute bowler, who's got a combi flamer and just shivving everyone.
We also saw what we think looks like a Gravis apothecary. Yeah. We saw the new Terminator Librarian. I mean, this is exciting times. I actually think
everything that's in that trailer is going to be in the box set.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because...
Get that box set to me now!
Because you can... Because the original Push Fit Redemptor didn't go down so well. A, they gave it a terrible loadout. And B, it's not very posable. It's just like that. But with a Dreadnought that's only got 2 gun arms, you can kind of relinquish a bit of the posability. Because
it's you've
just got 2 guns. You don't have to worry about where the arms are going.
The interesting thing that we will discuss probably on another video, this is literally reactions to the reveals, but we'll discuss on another video, with what's happened with the Terminators, with looking like Primaris Sternguard, I'm hoping this means an amalgamation of Primaris and Firstborn rather than an eradication of Firstborn to allow you to not invalidate all of your Firstborn Marines.
So what I'd like to see, right, is that Intercessor units and Firstborn Space Marine profile, it's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Because all the Dawn of Fire books, right, kind of follow along the same storyline in terms of Firstborn, very Ultramarines, go to their new chapter. New chapter's like, no, bad. And then throughout the book, the new intercessors learn what it is to become that chapter, right? And then they're like, oh, actually, we're fighting the wrong style. We need to fight like the Firstborn Space Marines because the way they fight is better, where they've got a heavy weapon in each squad and they've got like a few specialists in each squad. And I kind of think, if they just make them the same...
I mean, the trailer kind of alludes to that, maybe, a little bit. So I'm kind of hopeful that's what they do.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't just Space Marines that we saw in that new trailer, although they were quite poignant, obviously, and they were kind of the cool good guy heroes. A little bit sad that they paid them Ultramarines, considering the Return of the Line. I thought they could just made them Dark Angels.
But they all die, though, so that's fine.
However, what we also saw was a plethora of Tyranids in that trailer. If you haven't watched the trailer, you need to go and watch it. It's absolutely incredible. It looks like an old-school version of a Screamer Killer Carnifex.
Oh, I can't wait for a new Screamer Killer.
It looks like
so like they're like my fate. Like, if anyone's heard me talk about the Tyranids, is that I've got more Carnifexes at home, and they're all Screamer Killers. Because I said all Carnifexes should only be Screamer Killers.
We saw new Lictors.
Oh, Well, you saw the shadow of them as they yeet that apothecary.
Yeah, we've seen images already on the website of actual brand new plastic termagants. The hormagants seem to be scaled up. We saw what we thought might be new gene sealers. Yeah. There was a new psychic zoanthrope massive bug.
It's like a big Norn Queen style.
There's a load of like.
There's like these weird. They look like the pyroclast, but they've got big feedery tentacle things. And then there's like a.
I'm so excited, Joe.
And then there's like a mini Flyrant, isn't there?
Yeah.
He's about the same.
He's like the old Shrike type thingies, like or whatever they were called.
Yeah, the Warrior Shrike. So he might be like the new Warrior Prime.
Yeah, basically. He didn't seem to be big enough to be a Hive Tyrant.
No. But he's got Wolverine style claws.
So the release trailer, epic, incredible. Sweet. Showcases or potentially showcases a ton of new models that we're both incredibly excited for. There was no Desolation Marines in that whole release. There was nothing that I looked at and went, that looks stupid. Yeah. I was just excited all the way through. Good job, GW. That was amazing.
Winner.
What an incredible trailer. We were talking about trailers the other day and how their trailers are just flat better than their series. This is another one of those examples. The mood was right, the pace was right, the music was right. It was amazing. Before we go on to other models, i.e. the Lion later on, we'll now go into the actual 10th edition announcement and some of the stuff that they've covered, right?
We've got lots of things coming through.
We've got lots of things coming through. There's lots to cover though, Jay, right? I'm just learning from Table of Tactics this morning. I just ignored their chat.
Yeah. Peasants.
No, I'm joking. We will. We'll jump in very quickly and we'll say thank you to the people that have done the things and the stuff. So, Zenthik, welcome to the channel as a Jarl. You're a hero. There's a Jarl's only giveaway right now. Aran, I think that's how you say it. Upgraded to Scarred, you're a legend. Chaotic Failure gifted 10, you're a hero. Soups, Super Chat 5. Joe, Terminators, join a fellow Termy Stan. That's me in a happy dance.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to knock out the. I'm actually going to knock out the Blood Angel Terminators from Space Hulk now. I've decided this morning. I was like, I was holding steady.
The bad news for you, Soups, the bad news for Joe, in fact, is those new Terminators are so good that should they send them to me, he's probably not getting his hands on them.
Yeah, but we do need to get them painted for the release.
Why? They're just Terminators. We can use any of them.
No, we've got to use the new models.
So, thank you so much, Soups, for the super chat. Hazar, thank you for upgrading to Yar. You're a legend. Brood Rooster Paul, thank you for the donation. My biggest question will be, what will Battle Line units be? We'll get onto that in just a moment because that jumps ahead a little bit. Gareth, welcome to the channel as a Scold. The support from people recently for becoming new members and super chatting has been incredible. I would love for you all to keep it up, but I just want to say a massive thank you. It's amazing. The support's amazing, and we really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you have missed the news over the last week, well, this time roughly last week, but actually, it's just YouTube now, people. This is the way you support us. This is the way you support me and Joe. This is the way you support me and Luce. This is the way I feed the children. This is the only way I feed the children now, right? Yeah. Anyway, 10th edition rules, Joe. So they then jumped into 10th edition and said, hey, look. And I've watched the video from Stu and some of the others who were involved in the development of 10th edition.
Yeah. And we have mixed feelings about Stu.
So obviously we've said a few times with MetaWatch our opinions on what he says on MetaWatch.
So with MetaWatch, I always feel like he goes on the site on the thing and he just says a lot of non-words.
Let's put MetaWatch in a box and put it to one side.
Yeah.
And just talk about the video from last night. The studio have knocked it out of the park, right? And Stu's part of the studio, they've knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And they basically said, you spoke, we listened. So when I say they listened to us, everything we said, I'm saying everything we said. So it's a bit clickbaity because it sounds like I'm saying me and Joe. No, I mean everything we've said. So we've been talking to you guys for ages about the development of 10th and what we would like to see happen. And they came on camera and they said, you've all said, as a basic majority, it's too complicated, there's too many overlaps, it's too all over the place, it's terrible for beginners, it's not great accessibility, we fixed it.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Firstly, they're basically indexing 10th edition.
Good.
So confirm that they're indexing 10th edition. They have also stated that all of the rules for all of the armies at the start of 10th edition will all be free.
Good.
They have also stated that they will do a codex release schedule, and when each codex is released, it is a like-for-like swap. They've said that people have complained about supplements and extra detachments and etc. and armies of renown. No, like-for-like swap to keep it simple.
Yeah.
They have also stated in this same piece that you will be able to purchase unit cards.
Yeah.
And so if you want to take 5 units out of your 97 Space Marine unit army with you, you just take those 5 cards.
Which I like.
And that your army rules will be on 1 to 2 pages. So to start with, if we just take that in a nutshell at the moment, that's great news, I feel. Apart from, and I know there's a little bit of complaining online about this at the moment, apart from people like World Eaters and Astra Militarum, who are going to get circa 6 months with their codex before it's invalidated. I get that there's a feels bad. I've already seen some people online saying, I'm asking for a refund for my World Eaters Codex already. If you do feel that way, I'm obviously very sorry for you. But as a hobby in general, as a game on the whole, we need this reset.
Yeah. And there's still like, what are we now? We're March now. There's like a week left of March after this one.
Yeah.
And then you've got, when did Royal Mail say it was happening?
It's June the 24th, I want to say.
So we're at April, May, June.
Most of June, yeah. So you've got 3.5 months more.
3.5 months, basically. You've got four months if you from release in terms of use it. But like, it still doesn't break the record for Knights. Knights had like a 3-month release.
No. But and I like I said, I get it, right? The thing is, I like codexes because I like having the books, I like the lore, I like the narrative, I like everything. For World Eaters, with minimal data sheets and minimal rules, I don't feel that bad about losing it. Astra Militarum may be worse because Astra Militarum. So World Eaters is a new book. Astra Militarum waited 6 years for an updated codex, or 5 years for an updated codex, and now it's going to be invalidated in 6 months. I get it, but because of what they've said the rules are going to look like for 10th edition, I'm happy. Like, I have an Astra Militarum codex. I have multiple, actually, because I bought KD stands lots of times. I have a World Eaters codex, right? I'm actually okay with this because I feel like the game in general is just going to benefit from this change.
Yeah.
So I'm okay that I might feel a little bit of pain for the overall game and community benefit.
I think for like Games Workshop sizes, obviously they had to release the new Guard models and they had to release the new World Eaters models before Temp came. Because Temp's going to come out, there's going to be months and months of just them trying to sell the starter box set, and then there'll probably be, I don't know, Space Marine releases and Tyranid releases that follow on after that, which means that we wouldn't, in theory, get World Eaters and Guard until next year.
Possibly.
So when they release the new models, they kind of have to release rules to go with them at the same time. And if Games Workshop hadn't done World Eaters, because they're like a non-faction at this point, really, and we just focus on Guard, could you imagine if Guard players didn't get the new codex now, because 10th edition's on the horizon, didn't get a new codex for the whole of 9th edition? I think the uproar.
I actually think indexing is the way. We've talked about it lots, right? The only reason why I was against indexing was because these codex would only have 3 or 4 months, and I was kind of against them changing the core rules. More on that in just a moment. They have changed the core rules, but only at the moment, touching all the wood, only in a way that I'm positive about.
I don't think it's a step away from 9th edition, but it's not a massive step.
We'll go into it. Yeah. In terms of the indexing, though, people, like I say, they're going to provide you with all the rules for free to start with. It's going to be a like-for-like swap as and when the codexes come out. They're going to be free to download. You better buy unit cards. And it sounds like they're also going to be well digitised. Now, they've made that promise before. That's my only point that I may be a bit sceptical about, because their digitisation in the past hasn't been the best.
No.
But that aside, indexing is probably the right call. The only thing I'm conscious of is I don't want them to be in a situation a la 8th edition where an army gets a codex and plays against an army with a non-codex and there's a mild imbalance there.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So we'll go into some more rules then. So we've talked about army cards and you can buy army cards. Well, why is that a thing? Well, because data sheets have now changed and you have a unit card. And the data sheets have changed quite significantly as well, Jay. So there's a new statistic that every unit has, which is, in fact, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to load it up on purpose so I don't get things wrong. Probably should have done this at the start.
Can you share your screen with the peeps?
No, I can't share my screen with the peeps. But tough. Quite frankly, I'm not set up for sharing my screen with the peeps in this because this is our normal gaming studio. Yeah. Right. So the edition has evolved is the article. So there's the data sheet that they've given us is a termagant data sheet, right? So it feels more AOS, but it's also clearly 40k and not the same. I'll explain. Yeah. So you have a movement characteristic. You have a toughness characteristic. For me, this sounds like a good idea. It means we're not just getting auto wounding or a flat wound roll. You have a save characteristic, a wounds characteristic, a leadership characteristic, and then an OC characteristic. Now they have confirmed the OC characteristic is about objective controlling. Yeah. Okay, I can assume that you count up the objective controlling characteristic of all the units in range, and then all the units of your opponent in range, whoever has the highest number controls the objective. Yeah. Super simple, super easy, right?
But it also means that different units have different strengths.
Yes. So this is a termagant we're looking at who has an OC of 2, probably because it's a troops choice. Troops used to get objectives secured. I assume they're just going to have a higher OC value, right? Yeah. That's it, though. That's your data sheet. You'll notice there's some things missing. There's no ballistic skill, there's no weapon skill, there's no strength.
Yeah.
Right? I'm okay with this. I think this is good. So then we go into the datasheet and you've got ranged weapons and melee weapons, and they give you the weapon, and then in brackets straight after the weapon is the universal special rules. It's neater, I like it. Note on the Termagant Spine Fist, Joe, a little rule at the end there that says twin linked. I'm really hoping universal special rules are coming back.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping universal special rules are coming back. You then have a range, a number of attacks, which is like when you used to have heavy 4, you've now just got number of attacks, right? And the assault is part of the keyword system after the weapon ability.
Yeah.
You then have the ballistic skill
Yes.
of the weapon. So no longer do you go, oh, I'm ballistic skill 4, but I've moved with a heavy weapon, so I'm now ballistic skill 5. It just tells you what it is.
Yeah.
Simple as that. You have a strength, an AP, a damage, right? Melee is the same, apart from you have a weapon skill instead of a ballistic skill, and then you have strength of your weapon. So you're getting rid of ×2.
Yeah.
There's no ×2, +1, +3. This is the strength if you have a power fist. This is the strength if you have Xenos claws, etc. You've got abilities and special rules on the right-hand side. At the bottom, you've got keywords and faction keywords. Faction keywords currently for Termagants are just showing simply as Tyranids. So I'm hoping they've neatened the keyword system up as well. So there's one keyword for your faction, and the rest are in one box because it's just neater. It'll probably work clearer, cleaner. All I think,
Twin Links used to be reroll hits, didn't it?
Used to be reroll hits to Twin Links. Yeah. I cannot, in that whole data sheet, see anything I don't like.
No, because basically it's the same information you get on the current data sheet, just less confusing. And also, I hope they do with this, is that regardless to the fact that multiple units in your army might have the same weapon, I hope they put the profile of that weapon in every data sheet.
So from what I understand from what they said, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
So I don't like one of the main ones is like for Scions and for Kassakin, they both have access to hotshot volley guns on neither profile.
I know.
You have to go and find it somewhere.
But this is what they've done here is they've tried to just remove some of the confusion.
Yeah.
This is, let's be honest, right? Let's be completely clear. They can do that exact thing with the units as they currently are.
Yeah.
I want to add something, however, that they also talked about during the reveal last night, and that is reducing lethality of units. So none of those weapons that we've just talked about had an AP characteristic. None of them were AP -1, which is different to the current version of Tyranids.
Yeah.
So I have had a problem with 9th edition for a very long time, that on certain tabletops, we try and put out narrative tables here when we're not playing competitive 40k, because it's cool, it's nice to look at on stream. When we're playing competitive, we have to put certain units, certain layouts down. Why? Not just because tournaments use them, but because if we didn't, certain armies just pick up half the opponent's army in the first turn, and it's not a game.
Yeah, you have the balancing's not just in the armies; it's on everything you put on the table.
Yeah.
And then the game was so killy they had to put Armour of Contempt in, and then took Armour of Contempt out, and it just
You remove a lot of that killiness, you might not have to have quite so densely packed terrain covered boards.
Yeah.
Because actually, densely packed terrain covered boards kind of really benefits melee armies, right? Fast melee armies like Blood Angels and stuff like that. So they've said they're reducing the lethality. Again, I can't argue with it. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a really, really good thing. So talking about Termagants, they've introduced this new phrase, battle line. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about the fact that they have changed how you build your army now, Joe, completely.
Yeah.
Detachments, formations, all gone.
Cool.
All completely gone.
Right.
The rules are very simple. You need a warlord. You can't take any more than 3 of the same data sheet. That's it. Take what you want.
I like that. That's good.
I think it's amazing.
Is that AOS that does that?
Kind of.
There's like a percentages, isn't there?
Yeah.
AOS,
So there is. I watched the Tactics stream this morning. If you get a chance after this, you can. I don't know if they've still got it up. You can go over to Tabletop Tactics and watch their stream as well. They were talking about. Chef specifically stated, I think this is a great idea. For competitive play, what you then could do is you could put in list building restrictions. Well, so you say you can't take any more than 4 tanks or something like that.
Well, that's what chapter approved then becomes, isn't it?
Exactly, right? So it gives you some list building restrictions to try and balance it, but as a generic player walking to the tabletop to play the game, just take whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about that, because the amount of times I've come up with a cool thematic rule, a cool thematic army, and I can't put it into a single detachment. Arcs of Omen improved it quite a lot, actually. We said that quite a lot, right? Because you can choose Outrider, not Outrider, Fast Attack as your mandatory choice, and you can suddenly do Simhan biker armies. But then they've introduced this new word, which isn't new, but it is new. Yeah. And when I say it isn't new, but it is new, it's new to 40k players, it's not new to AOS players. Battle line. Back to the super chat we had from Brood Rooster Paul. What is battle line? So battle line in Age of Sigmar is essentially troops choices in 40k. The difference being, depending on the HQ choices that you took, some things change their battle line. Okay.
As a battle line is compulsory, isn't it?
Battle line is your core choices, your troops choices. The reason why that's important is because battle line is the only unit where you don't have the restriction of 3+ on, right?
Okay, yeah.
So potentially, sake of argument, I'm going to pick Dark Angels because the line has been shouted about a lot. Potentially, you could take Belial as your HQ choice as your Warlord, and if he's your Warlord, he could unlock standard Deathwing Terminators, not Knights. Standard Deathwing Terminators is battle line.
Yeah, I got you. Yep.
If you took a Autarch on a jet bike, you could unlock Wind Riders as battle line.
Yeah.
And then you can have more than 3 units, right?
I like that.
And they don't gain objective secured because they're not troops, and objective secured gone. We've got OC instead. That OC value will stay the same, but they become battle line. Really tidy.
I like that. That's
I
good.
really like that. If they implement it the same way they've done it on Age of Sigmar, super happy with that. So. In terms of list building, I think it's changed dramatically, and I don't think it's a negative. Some people have said that it's going to leave it being open to abuse for tournament players, which is why, like you say, chapter approved should probably tidy that up.
Yeah.
So other things that have changed. 2 phases of the game have gone.
The movement phase.
No, it's not Tal versus Guard. So 2 phases of the game have gone, Joe. No more psychic phase.
Right.
No more morale phase.
Right.
So morale is now called Battle Shock.
Isn't the psychic abilities in Heresy phase based? So you do.
So it has been a couple of times in 40k history as well.
Yeah.
So Battle Shock is now morale, and Battle Shock is now in your command phase. It's rolled into one. It's neater. It's tidier. As far as I understand it, Battle Shock sounds like it's going to impact how your models perform, and you're not just going to let things run away anymore. And it's not going to be the complicated nonsense of have I fast or failed my leadership? Hang on, what's my leadership? And I've rolled it. Oh yeah, I failed by 1. How many models have I got left? Oh, I've got over 50. Like fuck it, they've got rid of that nonsense. Thank God, because I hate the current morale phase. In fact, often we just don't do it, quite frankly. And Psychic Phase now is on the datasheet as kind of like a shooting profile or something like that, right? So there's no Psychic Phase, which means if you have a Psyker with a big gun, I don't know yet, but I would assume, do you do your Psychic power or do you shoot your gun?
Yeah.
I prefer this as well. I think this is just tidier, right? This is super cool.
Yeah.
I'm so happy about this edition.
Yeah, because I think like in Heresy, if you've got defensive stuff, that happens in the start of your movement phase, and then the stuff, if there's a psychic power that buffs charging, then that goes at the start of the charge phase.
Yeah,
which is good. I like it.
So there's been previous editions. I think 3rd edition didn't have a psychic phase. I think 5th edition didn't have a psychic phase.
No.
There's been editions that haven't had psychic phases, and then there's been editions that have. I don't hate a psychic phase. I'm an Eldar player. I like having a psychic phase, but if it's just like if like Smite is now a 3+ to hit rather than a 2d6 and you could perils, I'm kind of higher. I'm kind of happy with it, right? Because Smite is just kind of right now. It's not very narrative. So and the other thing is, we then go from having command phase, movement phase, psychic phase, shooting phase, charge phase, fight phase, morale phase. Well, 2 of them are now gone. So we've gone from 7 to 5 phases.
I'd have to check, but in AOS, each psyker, depending on what it has a specific psychic power of its own, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
So you don't have access to loads of psychic power.
You have access to a couple of cores.
Yeah.
One is essentially smite, one is essentially a shield.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you get your powers are very much dependent on what your datasheet says you can have. There are faction-specific powers you can choose as well, but typically a psychic unit gets access to a bonus power that's on their datasheet, which is quite tasty. I'd like to see that as well. Yeah. Right. So psychic phase gone, now incorporated in datasheet and probably happens in various phases. And then morale phase gone, battle shock, probably going to interact completely differently to what we're used to. I'm all for it. I think it's a positive so far. Talking about big changes then, one of the things that I think it personally has plagued 9th edition, it was kind of bad in 8th and it's plagued 9th edition, is stratagems. There is so many of them. There are some that never get used, so I don't know why they exist. There are some that get used all the time because they're so good. There are so many stratagems, and because of the way they work and the way they interact with keywords, etc., it's often quite janky. It can create loads of feel-bad moments, and people can be like, I didn't know you could put that stratagem on your warriors, or I didn't know you could put that thing on your marines, or Brom, I didn't know you could put transhuman on a redemptor. So there's loads of stratagems at the moment. It's bloated, it's crazy. So what they've said is, Factions are going to basically go down the World Eaters route. So sort of 6 to 8 stratagems per faction. I think they actually said 6.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. And they're going to slightly increase, or just increase a bit, the number of core stratagems, which are currently 7. I reckon they'll be like 12.
Yeah.
Right? So you'll probably have access to about 18 stratagems in total. But the big thing is, the highest number of stratagems you have access to, everyone has access to.
Yeah.
So everyone knows what's coming.
Yeah.
It's just better.
I hope it's like +1 to hit, +1 to wound, or I reckon interrupt will still be a thing. I'm sorry.
Well,
I actually kind of hope that transhuman becomes universal special rule.
No, I hate it. If transhuman becomes universal special rule, it needs to be like a -1 to wound, not a like anything. I have harlequins. Anything that says you can't wound on a 1, 2, 3, you can't hit on a 1, 2, 3.
Maybe if it was like if it reduces your strength.
Anything that isn't a 1, 2, 3s, you can't like. I don't. Fine, okay. But yeah, so we're going to have an increased number of core stratagems. We're going to wildly reduce the amount of stratagems available to factions. It's neater, it's tidier.
It's less to remember as well.
Yeah.
Like if you are a heavily competitive player and you go to an event, it's not expected of you, but you kind of sometimes I think a lot of people they kind of expect like you want to know what every army has, what every strategy, so that you can combat it, or you don't get that gotcha moment. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
But
it is exhausting,
yeah,
and it feels bad, like I say.
Yeah.
And I have known occasions where you can see a person's fucking soul shatter, and they almost walk around from the table like, I don't want to play anymore because that's just such a feels bad moment that just kicked me square in the nuts.
Yeah.
Which isn't great, right? It's not amazing when those things happen. So, what else has happened? Okay, so they've announced one thing. Boarding actions, this is if you've bought all the boarding actions books,
stays the same.
Will remain.
Yeah.
It's not going away.
Well, it's just missions, isn't it?
Boarding actions doesn't actually contain any rules for data sheet. It's boarding action. It's stratagems. It's missions.
Yeah.
Boarding actions will remain, and it will be a way that you can play 40k. However, you've then got boarding actions, and you've got big boy 40k at 2,000 points ish.
Yeah.
They're introducing a middle tier. It's called combat patrol.
Do you reckon combat patrol would be less? Depends on how they point it.
Well, yeah, they said it is. Combat Patrol is the beginner into Big Boy 40k, right? Yeah. So Combat Patrol, I don't know if it's going to be a complete different way of playing, but Combat Patrol looks like it is a way that you can come into 40k at a smaller price point, at a lower model count. You don't have to go, they said specifically on the video, you don't have to go straight into 2,000 points. You can go Combat Patrol and play that way, and then scale up to full-blown 40k. I think this is also something we've been asking for ages.
Yeah, it makes entry to the game for each faction better, and also like financially. Say for instance, some people can't afford to just be like 2,000 point army off the nose. Some people are like, well, I could buy a combat patrol a month, or even just a box set a month kind of thing. So even if you bought everything that's in a combat patrol over 3-4 months, like you still get there eventually, and then you can then play that version of the game.
Yeah. I am incredibly positive about this right now. This is an amazing, like so far, they have not announced anything about 10th edition that I have gone, I don't like that.
I was incredibly relieved when I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
I was so stressed within myself about it because part of me was going to wake up in the morning and then for all the rumours that we've heard to be true, and they'd absolutely just killed it. They just straight destroyed the game that I love. And I read it, I was like, oh, thank God. Breathe. Like, we're all good. We're safe. Because
I'm really positive about it.
Because we are so invested and then have to spend the next few years playing an awful edition.
Do you know what, right? I'm so excited that if they sent me the rules today and said, here's 10th edition, play it tonight, I'd try. I would try, because I'm so excited for 10th edition. I think it sounds currently so good. GW, if you're watching, please don't fuck it up. Please don't. Please don't have it out for 6 months and then release loads of supplements with loads of extra. Please, just this sounds this. They said it on Tabletop Tactics this morning. I think Katie said it. This could actually be the golden age of 40k on the tabletop.
Yeah.
I feel like the start of 8th edition was a mini golden age.
Yeah, it was beautiful. There's a great index thing, and everyone it kind of shut up, and everyone's really, really enjoying it, and then the Space Marine books and supplements, and then
I just lemminged off the edge.
Yeah, and then it kind of plateaued a bit. Yeah. And then 9th edition, there was like, way, and then more supplements. Oh, there we go. It
I think
most
I,
of the
I
time.
legitimately think that we could be walking into now, from what they've announced, from what they're saying, the golden age of 40k. I've already had messages from people that basically haven't played for the whole of 9th edition that said, I think I'm going to dust my models off.
So in theory, the new rules come out. The new, we'll call them indexes for keyword sake. The new indexes come out, right? All codexes that get released after that, because you don't want them to be more powerful, like we said. You don't want to have 8 months of no guard book and they're stuck in index and everyone's got a codex. So all codexes that come out are balanced to the indexes. And that's how you maintain balance throughout.
So they've said, they've also categorically said, when a codex comes out, it's a like-for-like swap. Yeah. So I would imagine that when they index everything, so guard players who are upset about not having along with their codex, when you get your new index through for guards, it will have 6 stratagems on it.
Yeah.
Now, it might change when they codex you. It might change. They might change what those stratagems are. But they've said like-for-like swap.
Do they say that all rules will be free forever?
No, they don't make that distinction. No. And it's Games Workshop.
I imagine they'll be free until your new codex comes out.
The core rules will stay free, I think,
yeah.
which is something that everybody said they would never do. The core rules will stay free. I think the codex you will have to pay for it. My gut tells me that you will have options, and you don't just have to buy the book. You'll be able to go digital only if you want to.
I hope they stick with the data cards.
Oh yes.
Because
100%
AOS did it, and AOS has been doing it for years, and it was great.
But the data cards are more than AOS. They've said that they're going to give you your army rules on 2 pages, Joe.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Well, in theory, your army rules currently are only on 2 pages.
But in total text, they're probably on 2 pages, but they're in multiple places.
Yeah.
Right? So this is just... I'm so excited. So this is incredible, right? This sounds like...
Do you reckon this might be an edition that Bron might actually figure out how to play it?
No, he still won't know his rules by the end of it. But a lot of people, like I said, I've already had a ton of messages from people on Facebook and stuff like that going, this is amazing. I'm so pleased that we're going to be potentially pulling returning players back in again. A word of warning to Games Workshop, though. I feel like there is only so many times that people will forgive, forget, and come back to the hobby. So if this is going to be the golden age that I currently think it is, and I'm aware that I'm probably high off of no sleep and just excitement right now, keep it don't ruin it.
Yeah, because I'm in a couple group message things on WhatsApp. That's what it's called. And then a lot of people who've been playing 40k for a couple of years have, much like in 7th edition, left for AOS and Horus Heresy.
Yep.
And after last night, they're already going, they're giving us what I wanted when I played it before.
100% they are.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. There will be some people that don't like some of the changes. There will be some people out there that have said, I don't actually like the idea of changing that rule. And gamers hate 2 things. Changing the way things are, right?
Yeah.
It's just war gamers and gamers. I don't like change. I don't like the way things are. Cool, can't win. So some people won't be happy about it.
But when you change it, the old way was better.
But I think the majority of people are excited about it. Now, we're about to talk about the Lion. Once we've talked about the Lion and some of the other new models that have been announced, we're then going to jump into chat. So now is the time. If you have a point you want to make, a question you want to ask, stick it on a big colourful postcard, super chat it in. Chat's moving quickly. I won't be able to get to everybody. So stick it on super chats and Joe and I will go through them. We're 10 past 2, so we've probably got another 45, 50 minutes in us, right, before we start getting ready for tonight's stream. Right, okay. The Lion. Have you seen him?
I have. Tywin Lannister.
What a model.
All right.
What a model,
he
Joe.
Is beautiful.
He's amazing.
I don't like his head.
Fucking get out.
I don't like his bare head.
I don't like the head with the big ears on. I don't like the rabbit head. I don't like the fact that he's got a rabbit head, but somehow he could put a hood over.
Well, they fold down, don't they?
Have you seen how big they are?
That's how they get through doors. Right? That's how, because not all doors in the Rock are 12 feet high to accommodate ears.
My favourite head is the Tywin Lannister face with the hood on. That's my favourite head.
Ironically, the one I like is the one where it's covering most of his face.
Honestly, Jay, I saw that model this morning and I think I couldn't get out of bed for 10 minutes because I had a massive erection.
I do have some...
I'm not done. And then I loved him so much, I had to come downstairs and instantly make a short about the Lion. I used to play, one of the only armies I've ever really painted historically was Dark Angels years and years and years ago. So long ago, in fact, the paint job just wasn't fucking good enough for camera, so I got rid of it. But that was one of the only armies I've ever, like, my highlighting of black, I might as well have been using a 2-inch brush that used to paint, like, it was so bad. But I love Dark Angels in the lore. I said to you guys so many times, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, and Space Wolves have always been my favourite chapters. Got a bit of a soft spot for Templars. I quite like Grey Knights. Anything with flavour. This model just screams character.
Yeah.
He's so pretty.
Well, he's a character, isn't
Fuck you.
He's better than his 4-drop model, and he's better than Gilliman.
And the 4-drop model's good. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
the 4-drop model's one of the best in that character range as well.
in best looking Primarks, now, I'm a Chaos player on the whole, right? Best looking Primarks now, Lion.
Yeah.
This is how it goes for me. Tell me if you disagree. Lion,
Yeah.
Mortarion, Angron, Magnus,
Yeah.
Gulliman.
Yeah. I'd probably have Angron and then Mortarion.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I want to have
having painted both, he is much nicer.
I want to have Angron higher because I'm World Eaters. I just feel like Mortarion has got a lot more of Mortarion's character in his model.
Yeah. He is, yeah.
But that's how that's how nice I think the Lion is as a model. He is stunning. And a lot of people go, I don't like the completely bare head. I love the bare head. I just think he's beautiful.
To be honest, I do like I like all the heads, but the bare head one is the least for me. He looks just like a really old man. And he's been asleep for a long time. Also, I have a huge.
But narratively, okay, so
I have a narrative problem with.
So
this whole situation
narratively,
as well.
Gulliman was in stasis, and the Lion's been asleep.
Yeah.
So that's why Gulliman looks fresh-faced like a baby.
Yeah.
Not Tyrion, Joffrey.
Joffrey.
And that's why the Lion looks like an old man.
But so I need someone to fill in the blanks for me in this as well, and I can't. I have been told it's going to be in the new Tau book, so the Lion's alive, right?
Yeah.
He's got a sword.
He has.
He's got a big ass sword.
He hasn't got his sword.
That's not the sword that Cypher's been carrying.
His sword's called Fealty
Yeah.
that he's carrying currently
Yeah.
in the model. That's not his sword. It's not the Lion's sword.
Okay.
Cypher's still got the Lion's sword.
Oh, that's all right then, because I was like, what's Cypher doing right now? Because the problem is Cypher's always been a bit of a MacGuffin. They're like, oh, the Space Marines are all going to die. How are they going to get out of it? It's inescapable. Cypher turns up, kills everyone, runs away. Great. Right? It's like at the start of the Lego movie. It was like, we're flying MacGuffin Airways in a plane full of bombs and Z4.
Yeah.
Because they need a plot line. They need to fix this.
No. Cypher's still got the Lion's sword. He's got Fealty. He has got the Emperor's shield, though.
Yeah. And
so Gulliman, who picked up the Emperor's sword, the Lion's got the Emperor's shield.
Well, it's Gilliman's. He's got
So
two
if the
hands.
Emperor, yeah.
Right. Lazy.
Yeah.
He's got a big mitten
maybe
on.
if Gulliman had bothered his ass to pick up the Lion's sword, the Emperor's shield at the first place, because he's got two hands, he might not have died so quickly all the time.
And then also, where's Luther at this point?
We don't know.
I'm not. It's Luther the person, not the thing you use in the shower. But right,
Luther with a TH.
If
you pronounce it correctly, not Luther.
Because Azrael let him out, didn't he?
Oh, I'm so excited for Dark Angels.
It's have you listened to the Luther?
I might scrap every project for Dark Angels, Joe.
Listen, build your Dark Angels and listen to the Luther book.
Is it good?
Really good.
Descent of Angels is one of the first Warhammer novels I ever actually read, not even listened to. I read Descent of Angels.
I read the first one I read was Storm of Mine, but then I read Angels of Darkness.
Descent of Angels was before Angels of Darkness?
Angels of Darkness was like very, very early, very early. It was Descent of Angels, and then there was something of Caliban.
Yes.
Angels of Darkness is like a 40k one.
Descent of Angels is the first. Actually, I think it was in fact the first heresy book I ever read was Descent of Angels, and I'm actually going to probably. I'm halfway through Betrayer, and I'm a massive World Eaters nut. I'm probably going to pause that right now and just download Descent of Angels again because the Tale of Caliban. I love Caliban. Brilliant. Right. So we have got the Lion. We both agree he's probably the greatest looking Primark. I'm not an Imperial player. I'm a Chaos player and an Eldar player at heart. And I love my Guard. I've got some incredible models to choose from. I've got the Avatar of Cain, right? I've got Angron. I love so much the new Eldrad Ulthran. Jane Zara is an incredible model. The Lion is up there with one of my favourite models they've ever released.
Yeah.
And for once, I'm not going, it looks terrible because the photo job is terrible. Like, he's just gorgeous.
He is, because a lot Games Workshop have had a few near misses with models in terms of like how they've been photographed, and it's not until I've actually held the model, Angron, I've actually gone, this is a good model.
There's two things I have. There's two problems I have, and these are little niggles, right? These aren't actual problems. They're little niggles. First of all, okay, the first problem I have is it is Dante, one of the oldest living Space Marines, and his new model, which is beautiful, has just been completely overshadowed now. Everyone has forgotten who Dante is. And that model is also beautiful.
I don't think he was supposed to be announced until 10th had even come out.
So there was a rumour that actually is a single miniature. So the rumour going around the internet is as a single miniature, he was probably supposed to be a Warhammer Fest release rather than an AdeptiCon announcement. But he's been completely overshadowed. And I think the Dante model, personally, I know everyone goes, I don't like the face. I love it. I think it's great.
Stunning.
Yeah.
He's beautiful.
The other issue I have is, and this is a real niggle, I just feel like it's too close to another Primark. Like, if you look at the pacing and spacing of Primarks that they've done, like, Angron came out like a month ago, and now I've just announced a Lion. Unless they're moving into a higher release rate of Primarks.
I personally wanted all the Chaos ones to come out before they released an Imperial one. Right? Because...
No bias though, Joe, right?
No, but story-wise, right?
Yeah.
Story-wise, I wanted it to be like the end of Infinity War. I wanted it to be like, this is like Calgar's, like Captain America, like literally a wall of Primarchs and enemies. The Emperor's on its knees and it's not having a good time.
So there's a couple.
So I wanted the return of the new Primarchs to be like the pushback. You know, I think narratively it makes less sense. Although, narratively-wise, bringing the Lion back now, for those of you who've read Unremembered Empire, Gilliman created the second empire, Imperium, during the heresy.
This is an interesting theory, by the way.
This is a theory.
I know where you're going with
right,
this.
So he created a whole separate thing.
Here comes Storytime with Joe.
And basically, the people involved with this Gilliman's little separate Imperium in his 500 worlds was Sanguinius and the Lion. Right, and obviously Gilliman set it up, but he couldn't put himself in charge because he set it up, and he looks a bit big-headed. So he ideally wanted Sanguinius to be in charge because everyone loves Sanguinius. Sanguinius is humble, and he was like, "No, my life is too sad. I cannot." And then,
which is a good job because he's now dead.
And then obviously the Lion, being like the big knobbish jock of the family, he's like, "I'm number one. I'm the first Legion. I should be in charge." And like Gilliman was like, "Oh, fuck. Yeah, all right then. You could be in charge because you're the first Legion." And then, thankfully, it never came of anything. But like, the other primates kind of held it over him. And now, the Lion's come back. He's like, "You've done it again!" He's done it again! He's set up a new Imperium. He's put himself in charge. So I kind of feel like this would create a large like tension between all the chapters because he's come back and he's like, "Well, I'm the big boy. I'm the big brother in the family. I should be in charge."
Well, this is going to create, like, narratively, this could create.
It should be like. I hope it creates a civil war.
So now this is where I'm getting goosebumpy now. Narratively, this creates a very interesting dynamic between Gilliman and the Lion, right?
Yeah.
Because up until now, Gilliman has basically, the Emperor's on his throne, right? Gilliman has basically been able to roam free in terms of being at the head.
Yeah.
Declares himself a High Lord of Terror. Has no one who will ever question, argue, or compete with him for that top spot.
He's made himself regent. Like, he's like the Emperor who's never spoken ever before has gone, "Well, the Emperor told me."
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And do we think the Lion is going to happily stand by his side as his number two? I don't think he would.
No.
I don't think the Lion would do that. So I think this could narratively create a really interesting dynamic between Gilliman and the Lion. Yeah. And the other thing reason why I'm happy with that is I want to put the Lion down against Brom and slap Gilliman. Yeah. Anyway,
he'll be like, "Look at you in your nerd suit.
Yeah,
can't walk around without your nerd suit
I've
on."
seen some super chats about the Lion, so we'll talk about a little bit more about that. There is a couple more model releases that we'll talk about very, very briefly, but I'm not so. Oh, also, Arcs of Omen, the Lion is coming as the 5th Arcs of Omen book as well, which I don't think we're massively surprised at. But I'm excited to read the narrative in that one. I haven't read any of the narrative in any of the Arcs of Omen books. I want to have them all, and then I'm going to read it all in one.
Basically, shit's gone down. What they need to do with the Arcs of Omen is do a the Dawn of Fire series, but for the Arcs of Omen to actually explain what it is.
Yeah.
Because like the narrative for the Fall of Cadia was brilliant, but no one actually wrote books about it.
Yeah.
So only the people that could be bothered to sit and read those tomes could distribute the information.
Yeah. It does now mean, I was talking the other day to chat about, maybe I'll do Space Wolves. That is now fully your project.
Thanks.
That's now yours, Joe. Fuck that. I'm all about the lion. Anyway, there has been a couple of little model races. We'll touch on it briefly. We'll jump into the super chats and we'll start getting through your postcards. Firstly, Jump Pack Votan. Officially announced before Jump
Pack character. Right? I feel so sorry for Votan in this new Kill Team box, right? The box that comes out upgrades Brew for Warriors, gives them this little rotor cannon thing, and one Jump Pack character. Despite the fact that the core rules for boarding actions is no fly. Right?
This is Kill Team.
For Kill Team. It's
not boarding actions, it's Kill Team, Joe. And then, the one that I thought you might be excited about, Chaos Beastmen.
I saw those and I was like, ooh. because Chaos Beastmen are so core within the backstory of the Black Legion narrative.
Oh, they're the people that work on the ship,
yeah,
right?
They basically run everything. So, in the books, when Abaddon meets Iskandar, he's like, oh, these Beastmen, these people are helpful.
Yeah.
I'm going to put them in charge of my ship.
Yeah.
So I've got 4 from Blackstone Fortress. So I'm actually going to get a bunch done for the Black Legion.
Coordinate Ed says jump character for Votan before Night Lords.
I'm just any Night Lords player holding their phone this morning, it's like off it goes.
Right. So Gareth Ronda, welcome to the chat.
Hang on. Can we take a minute to talk about how beautiful those Empire soldiers are as well?
I don't. So I have.
I know we're not an Age of Sigmar channel, but they are beautiful.
I have had one wandering eye on Age of Sigmar for ages because I've been slowly falling out of love with the 40k rule set.
That you can blame your wandering eye on Sigmar. I'm joking.
I have had one wandering eye on Sigmar for ages because I've been slowly falling out of love of the 40k rule set. Yeah. Not because I don't because I've said this before, right? The 40k narrative is my favourite thing in the world, and typically I'm a fantasy fan. Like I said before, Lord of the Rings over Star Wars, Game of Thrones over Star Trek. I've always been a fantasy fan until we hit the tabletop, and for me it's all about 40k. And the reason why I've been involved with 40k for so long, the reason why I'm here doing this job, is because the 40k narrative. This morning, reading, watching, I've had goose pimples. That's what this hobby, it's what this narrative does for me. So I've had an eye on Age of Sigmar because of the rule set only. And the reason why I haven't taken that leap is because of the narrative, because of what's going on. And so that's why I've considered getting into Age of Sigmar. And I've talked before on the channel about maybe getting into Age of Sigmar. I have been very consciously aware of the fact that typically content for Age of Sigmar just doesn't do as well as 40k for all the other big channels. People like Tactics, they do probably the best Age of Sigmar content in terms of numbers, and they don't do high numbers compared to their 40k content. Yeah. So I could put a ton of effort into Age of Sigmar and talking about Empire models, but at the moment, with the announcement of 10th edition and the announcement of the Lion, fuck AOS.
I saw because when I played Warhammer Fantasy, Empire's army I run because they were basically a Napoleonic army with just ranks and ranks of people, and they did it really nice. At the moment, I've got a Slaves to Darkness army sat in boxes sealed, just whispering to me like the ring to Frodo.
I have 4 complete AOS armies in the house, Joe, which I'm going to get you to sell them all, and we'll just split the profits.
Oh, I'll do that. Yeah.
Because I don't want them anymore. I'm done now.
We'll put it to the gaming channel.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So, Gareth Ronda, thank you so much for becoming a Scold. You're a legend. We do members-only chat content. So if you're a member, you're the only person that can chat currently on Tuesdays. We're currently reassessing how our content's going to look in the future after last week's news, but memberships are an incredible way of supporting us. We do have a lower tier at Hasir to get you in Discord. Because I don't want to feel like you have to pay the higher tier just to get into Discord and be part of a community. But it does also mean we keep a lot of the trolls out because you have to pay to be involved. But Skull tiers are really, 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 really fundamentally key to the channel's success. So at the moment, you don't really get much extra for it, but you're just supporting us. It's a £5 a month membership. And if you can keep that ticking over forever, it's really important to us. It's amazing. It's also the tier that you get gifted at. So you get your members-only content. You get access to Discord. I need to work out if there's something else we can give. We've got a number of other tiers. We've got Jarls for a giveaway once a month. You get a Combat Patrol box of your choice, which is now probably going to be super important with a new Combat Patrol game mode. We've got Huskars for behind the scenes, Thanes for a WhatsApp chat, and Aces for a free Liam Dempsey event ticket once a year.
And a rub and tug.
And a rugged, yeah, exactly. But thank you for joining us. If you've decided to join us yourself, if you've decided to gift memberships, it's really, really important to us. So thank you so much. You're going to say something before I go on to the super chat.
I was going to say we also have the element link as well.
We do have the element link in the video description below. Did you know, right? If you spend £100 via the element link, my element link, we get 5%. Yeah. You spend £100, we get £5.
Yeah.
Right?
So
if you spend £100 a month on element, which a lot of hobbyists probably do, it's essentially the same as being a member anyway.
Yeah, so basically, obviously not everyone can afford it, and obviously they get gifted one. So if you want to save your money to buy your models with, as long as you just all you do is click on our link, and that takes you to their website. That's it, and then you just do your normal shopping. That's just a great way of just supporting us in another way.
Thank you so much. So, Leaks, let's go to the super chat show. We have some things to talk about. Leaks, will firstborn troops need to wear chunky, heeled orthopedic shoes to use the new upscaled Terminator armour? So the term what? So okay.
We've had this discussion.
Positive and negatives here, right? What they've done with Terminators is exactly what they should have done with Space Marines all along.
Just made it a new market.
This Primaris story should have never fucking happened, in my opinion, personally. The Primaris mess of 8th and 9th edition is a narrative fucking nonsense. You know the 67%, I think it is, mortality rate of crossing the Rubicon, but apparently every character has successfully passed it.
Yeah, but plot armor is important, isn't it?
Narrative, it's a mess. Model range, for me, is very 50-50. Half of them are incredible, half of them are fucking stupid, and I would have much preferred Firstborn scaled up like they did with Chaos.
I can't think of any of the Primaris range that I don't like besides the T-shirt Marine.
Honestly, Inceptors, I hate them. I think they're ridiculous. The jumpy, bouncy dudes with the big guns, I hate them. They look ridiculous. In fact, anything fly at the moment from Primaris is ridiculous. Hover tanks were kind of not needed. That's an Eldar thing. Why did the Imperium have to have them?
Yeah, but
it's a mess, Joe. It's a mess.
I like.
If they'd have scaled up Firstborn, if they'd have just scaled up Firstborn, they probably would have sold near enough as many as they have now. They could have introduced new units like Blade Guard, but they'd be scaled up Firstborn. They could have probably sold as many. They don't invalidate people's armies. They didn't need to do it. What they've done with Terminators is they've specifically stated that they're not Primaris Terminators, but they're not Firstborn Terminators. They're both. Anyone, a Firstborn Marine or a Primaris Marine, can get inside that suit of tactical dreadnought armour.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done before.
What they've got, right, is those kids' toys, which is basically an upside-down bucket with a bit of string, right? And they just put those on, and then they step into the Terminator armour, and then they're in.
They should have just, they shouldn't. The whole Primaris storyline is an absolute catastrophe in my particular opinion. Obviously, a lot of people love it out there. I get that, but I don't like it. So maybe they'll need orthopedic shoes. Yeah. But they're Space Marines, right? They've been given extra organs. Maybe they should get given an extra shin.
Yeah.
3-piece legs.
Back-jointed legs like horses.
Yeah. You know? But thank you for the donation, man. You're a hero. John Brickett, for the Lion, I am hyped, super hyped. I can't wait to get my hands on him. I'm super hopeful because they send out preview copies.
He's been rumoured for years. Like people, I remember people talking like the Christmas before that like the Lion is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just very sleepy. But just snoozing.
What I will say is he has been hyped for years, but at least when he's come out, he hasn't disappointed.
Yeah.
Right. That's a bonus.
Like Duke Nukem.
Warmaster Will says, "I'm happy with my Garg headaches. It was free. You're very welcome." Ape of Justice, welcome to the channel. Thank you for becoming a seer, you legend. Yeah. Andrew Simpson, new data cards are similar to the new Kill Team. I mean, I don't play Kill Team, but if this is a simplification that they're going for, a new style, I'm all for it. I think it's a great change.
I really wanted to get into Kill Team, but they had that weird square octagon circle system, which was the same. But in the book, it says a square is 2 inches, a circle is 3 inches, a thing is 6. I was like, just use numbers. If they're there to represent numbers, just use numbers.
Taylor B says, does this mean I can take Farsight's the 8 now? Arguably, yes. Yeah. If you have the options available to build the models that are involved within the 8, with the new way of building an army, arguably, yes, you'd be able to build the 8.
That was a missed opportunity, I think, for the Farsight book. I think. But upgrades proved to make the 8.
But this is my point, though, right? This is the new things that now become potentially viable that you can take, because they've removed so much of the complexity. And these are cool things that we all look at that now and go, oh, that'd be cool. But we haven't seen it forever. The 8 used to have like a data sheet, like a formation.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
And it was in 7th.
Yeah. And
now finally we can get things like that back. Super excited. And yeah, you're right about Kill Team, by the way. If they didn't fuck the rules on that one, I probably would have played it myself. A load of people keep saying to me, no, it's really good. I'm like, yeah. Like, I was looking at other gaming. I was looking at other gaming systems, people. I was looking at Kill Team. We tried boarding actions. I was looking at Age of Sigmar. I've been looking at Bolt Action. I've been looking at Star Wars Legion. I've been looking at BattleTech because I'm a bit fatigued with the 40k rule set because it's just a bit fucking shit at the moment.
I already said I was all over Bolt Action.
If you put all those rule sets on the table now, what I've basically done this morning is put my arm down and wipe them all off the side, Joe.
Yeah, like you exist. Although I've been watching The Mandalorian, I kind of want to play Star Wars Legion.
We're a 10th edition channel, Joe, right? Okay. Should I hold off building my Eldar, says Scott? Depends.
I would build the units that don't have weapon options.
Which for Eldar isn't a lot.
So that gives you Banshees.
No, because the Exile's got weapon options.
Magnets, right? Magnets.
Don't magnetise Eldar, that's horrible.
I wouldn't even bother buying Dire Avengers at this point. Guardians.
Which can be Storm Guardians or normal Guardians.
Just do both. Spend loads of money. Follow the element link.
It's hard to answer, Scott. It depends on what you're trying to do as a 40k player, right?
Dark
now,
Reapers?
For me personally, what I would do at this very moment in time if I've got new models to build is I would be going Rule of Cool. That's what I'm building. Because the edition looks like it's going to be more simplified. They've said they've done a lot of work, like I said, on reducing the lethality, balancing out all the units, improving durability. So it sounds like almost everything will be almost as viable as everything. They're never going to achieve true balance. We know that's not going to happen. So when this rule set comes out and you go, Deathwing Terminators are still just flat better than Assault Terminators, they're never going to get them perfectly balanced. So we're not expecting that. But they're looking at making sure everything is more viable. Yeah. So just rule of cool it, mate. Yeah, my whole mantra for 40k in general is rule of cool it.
Yeah, because if the rules are the most important thing to you in terms of this gun does this, this gun does this, then I would wait. But if you're like, I like shuriken cannons because they're machine guns that fire tiny discs of death.
Yes.
Then because you can go, I want this tank to be anti-infantry because we'll assume that anti-infantry guns will still be anti-infantry guns.
And that's exactly the point, Joe, right? Yeah. Your Bright Lancers will still be anti-tank, your Shuriken Cannons and Scatter Lasers will still be anti-infantry, your Star Cannons will still be anti-elite. That won't change.
No.
That won't change. So just rule of call it.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
And let's be honest, Mirror Swords on Banshees just looks baller.
They do look cool. They do. But I also really love the Executioner as well.
Although, do you know what's not great for Banshees? Dropping books on them.
No, but you've got a job to do after this. Now I'm just wondering, says Nordost. Oh no, sorry, Mr. Sven Haley, thank you for gifting the membership. You attention seeker, I appreciate you. Nordost, now I'm just wondering how the successor chapters will work in this edition. First founding chapters will of course be on forefront, but wondering how my Silver Skulls will work, only time will tell. I would suspect now that Space Marines as a codex, and I'm guessing this is not based on any knowledge, Space Marines as a codex will be like Astra Militarum, is my guess. Generic chapter tactic, and your Silver Skulls will just work under that generic chapter tactic, and then you might get supplemental rules, so what I think will happen, okay, this is my prediction. Time to clip this, chat, right, and hold this over me. Here's my prediction.
It's like a Simpsons from 10 years ago.
Yeah, this is my prediction. Space Marine Codex, right? 6 stratagems, your Wall of Traits, your relics, generic Space Marines. Okay?
Yeah.
Ultramarines book comes out, right?
Yeah.
6 stratagems, Wall of Traits, relics, plugs in over that. It's like for like. You don't get access to both.
Oh, like Disciples of the Red Angel?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
I think that's a good prediction.
Plug in instead. I don't think, gone will be the days of I have this supplemental codex of Blood Angels and I have this codex of Space Marines and I have access to all of the things. I think that will be gone.
Yeah.
So so your Silver Skulls, maybe you could decide that you want to be Space Wolves and then you'll just use the Space Wolf rules. Or you decide you want to be Blood Angels, you'll just use the Blood Angels rules.
I don't think they'll sack off successor chapters because the main story arc of Space Marines is there's so many successor chapters. There's so many chapters of Space Marines. There's so many secret squirrel ones where we don't know who they are or what they do. So people just run them as whatever. So I think they will still keep that because I think they would be lunatics to get rid of it. Or you might have the Space Marine Codex, and what they might end up doing, like ye olde days, is just plugging the successor chapter units into the main codex.
So John, with a monumentally generous super chat.
Wow.
Honestly, at this rate, I'm going to fly out to America and put your dick in my mouth. We got to keep S/T. S/T.
Strength, toughness.
Oh, cool, perfect. Yeah, good. Okay, thank you, Jay. Strip down strats, no more core. Yeah, core's gone, by the way.
Good.
Good, positive change. Likely less +1, -1 of strats, good. Tanks can survive. Going back to lower AP, the arms race is over. No more karate, protocols, cabal, points, etc. I'm never happy, but less angry with this. This doesn't look too much like AOS. That's the thing as well. A lot of people said they're AOSing 40k. Although I can see some similarities in battle line, and I can see some sort of similarities in the data sheet, I would go as far as to say I categorically do not think they have AOS 40k.
No, but then everyone I know that's gone to AOS says it's a better rule set. It's the model having to learn a whole new.
So I've thought that for a while with a couple of differences. I've never liked the fact that my single skeleton that wounds another skeleton on a 4+ also wounds a bloodthirst on a 4+.
Yeah,
I've never liked that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is some differences.
I prefer strength and toughness by miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad they kept strength and toughness. And they said that like 0 AP is the most common
Good,
AP.
that's the way it should be.
-1 AP is uncommon. -2 is rare. -3, -4, crazy. Like -4 is like your super special.
Yeah.
Like, that's your Abaddon, that's your Avatar.
Space Marines are going to be survivable again, which is cool. Right? But arguably, like, certain armies, Eldar Guardians, or, Guard Infantry, they might as well have just never given them a save. Because AP -1, AP -2 is so rife in 40k right now that you go, I've got flak armor. It's irrelevant. I'm always just picking models up. You're actually going to get flak armor saves now,
You have
Jay.
to spend the whole game hugging cover.
Yeah.
And then it's a bit of a non-game. Because then people start creating terrain layouts where there's no cover on objectives and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm so happy right now. Rudy, thank you for the donation. The line is amazing. The Emperor's shield is so cool. The shield looks amazing, by the way. Do you know one of the things that attracted me to Dark Angels years and years and years ago was that kind of medieval knightish vibe.
Yeah.
The Deathwing Knights, when that box first came out, I was all over them. And the lion just looks like the most impressive space knight I've ever seen.
Yeah.
With this fucking cool sword. They haven't overdone it. I felt like they overdone the sword a little bit with Gulliman.
Yeah.
They haven't overdone it. And this cool shield, haven't overdone it. Fits in the theme. Oh, he's just amazing. Oh, Jesus Christ, John. Thank you again. Okay, I love the lion, but Primark jeans don't stop male pattern boldness. I need my Primarks to have a better hairline than me, and that's saying something. And Joe is high. It's not better than 30k, but for 40k, an amazing model. No, I think it is better than the 30k model. I agree with you. I love the Lion 30k model.
My issue with the Horus Heresy model, the pose is brilliant, the armor is brilliant, but he suffers from the same problem as 40k Gilliman.
Yeah.
He's got baby head syndrome.
Yeah.
And that's the same for all of the Heresy Primark for some reason.
Whereas the Lion looks in scale for 40k.
They've all got little pea heads. whereas the Lion is actually like he's scaled from like head to toe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in Men in Black when that alien gets shot in the head and he regrows it back up. That's what like Heresy, all the Heresy characters are with the tiny little.
Yeah. It's like when Deadpool gets his limbs chopped off.
Yeah.
He's got the little tiny.
Yeah. It's just because that's the only thing that kills the Heresy Lion for me.
So I will go on record as saying that the Heresy Lion model is one of my favourite Primark models they've ever made for Heresy. And I was looking at buying him this morning, and I worked out how much. Like I just saw how much he was on 40. I was like, oh, what? No, maybe not. Yeah. But the 40k one, I'm with you. I'm sorry, John. I'm aware that you've donated tons today to the channel, and I love you very dearly. But I don't think I agree with you. I think that the 40k one's just flat nicer.
Perturabo is the best. I love the Perturabo.
If I could mute him, I'd mute him. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry.
I love Perturabo and Heresy.
Quick shout out, by the way, before we carry on with the super chats. A big shout out to Kirioth, who was streaming earlier. He's just started streaming. He's doing some tests. If you enjoy stream content, he's streaming hobby stuff during the day. So go over to his channel, hit that sub button, and make sure when he's live and we're not live, you're going to go hang out in his chat instead, because he's a super incredible guy. I've met him a few times. What a lovely man. So make sure you're going to hang out with Kirioth. He's just raided us. Brought his audience over.
He's got a strong head of hair on him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means for all our serial gifters, we probably got a bunch of new grey names in chat. So get sniping, right? Get sniping. Okay. Gordon Fenton, you legend. Who do you...
After the dog. Fenton!
Fenton! Who do you think could be the potential winners and losers in 10th? Also, I bet the rules will be free behind a paywall on the app. Right, so, okay. Depends on what you mean by winners and losers. So I would assume that things like transhuman and all Deathwing will go away. So if you think about that, and Dark Angel's currently sitting at the top of the tree competitively, they'd arguably be a bit of a loser, right? There is an argument to say that this reduction in complexity means that we're going to have a little bit less narrative reflection in rule sets. So just in the general, every army is a bit of a loser. I think that the amount of new players that this will bring into the game and the amount of fun people will be able to have and how much they've said this is going to speed the game up. Joe, we could play Brom in a game on a stream at night and not finish at 2:05 in the morning.
I still feel that's a lie.
So in that regards, although there's a bit less narrative flavour and everyone's a loser, every faction's a loser, the players are all winners. Quicker games, easier to understand.
All, like I said, with the weapons, all the units, what they are and what they represent within the army will still be exactly the same. Like a Drakari Witch will probably still be toughness free, but very strong in close combat, but not as strong as a unit of Terminators, because the Terminators would be really, really strong, really, really tough, but really, really slow. You know, it's all the stuff that what it currently does will stay the same as what it is currently doing. It just, you won't pick up 1,500 points of your army turn one.
So what we're basically saying is I don't think many things will do things differently to how they currently do it. There'll be some changes. Like I said, Deathwing I don't think will be as durable as they currently are, comparatively with other Terminators. Because a normal Deathwing Terminator versus a normal Terminator, one is just more survivable and they shouldn't be that much more survivable. Like, there's no reason for it.
And they're the same points currently.
Yeah, there's no reason for it. So they'll be losers. I can see potentially armies like maybe Knights might benefit because they've spoken about tanks and vehicles being more durable.
Yeah.
Now, Knights, no one takes... Have you ever seen a Knight play out a tournament? Like 15 armages.
Yeah.
Don't take big ones.
I wrote a Chaos... There's no point in me learning to play Chaos Knights right now. But I was reading the Chaos Knights book the other day. I was like... And my first rule was... My current rule is no more than 4 baby Knights.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, I managed to get 3 big knights, 4 baby knights, and that was my cut-off. And I was like, that's good. That's a narrative list.
Big stompy knights might actually be more durable. I'm hoping like people like him, who fall over at the moment if a toddler urinates on him, he won't die so fast now.
10 Kassakin currently.
Just pick him up.
Just annihilate him.
Yeah. So I don't know if we've given you a great answer there. But I think it's going to be a lot of shifting and changing, a lot of tweaking, and some things will be brought down and some things will be brought up. I'd like to think that Space Marines in general, so based on what we've heard, I would like to say and think that Space Marines in general will be brought up.
Yeah.
Because we've heard a massive change to AP. I just think they're going to get better. The overperformers that basically overperform because of busted layered rules will be brought down because they won't exist anymore.
Yeah, I imagine Guard will be a lot tamer, and in the sense, because at the moment, model count for model count, Guard players have less models on the table than Space Marine players. 100 points of Kassakin destroy 100 points of any Marine unit. I think I'd like to see Guard armies look like an actual Guard army.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I can imagine the things that make Kassakin as busted as they currently are just won't be a thing anymore.
Yeah. And also, in terms of app hidden behind a paywall on an app, I imagine if I don't know, like if an app comes out, I'll pay for it. If it works and it's good, I pay for the current app because
it's crap.
Yeah, it's awful. The only reason I pay for it is because it's included in my Warhammer Plus, and I want a free model once a year.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I pay for it. And I pay for Battlescribe because Battlescribe's really, really good. I have no issue paying money for something that just functions.
There's a person in chat called Freya Bloodaxe. What a great name.
Brilliant. That's
a proper Space Wolf name. That I love it. Shame Angron's gonna job to the lion. My only beef. Gonna job to the lion. So Nick, thank you because it's your first ever super chat. But I don't really know what you mean.
Drop, maybe? Maybe you meant drop.
Angron's going to job to the lion.
They did say in the video that the only person that can really deal with Angron
is the lion. Yeah. So the lion is returning narratively kind of because of Angron.
Do you know what I like about Heresy? Is that Angron just gets shit on. He's in Heresy books, everyone beats him up. Undemon Primarked Perturabo just slaps him around the planet for a book.
But thank you so much for your first ever super chat. Yeah. You're a hero, Nick. You're a legend. Thank you so much for supporting us. Then welcome to the channel. Great name for a person, this Joe. Horace. Here's Horace. There's Horace. Everywhere's Horace.
I like it. it's like Horace. Is it Horace the pig that America has?
Yeah. Job means lose to make someone look good. Okay, all right, that makes much more sense. Okay, I'm just not up with the kids. Right now.
It's a pro wrestling term. Get with it.
Oh, is it? All right,
Get
okay.
with the wrestling.
I'm sorry. In that case, that's potentially the plot armor that Joe's talking about, right? I can imagine that narratively speaking, the lion will probably slap Angron and then he'll back off a bit, and that's how they stop Angron just rampaging through.
I do have a slight narrative issue with the whole 10th edition video at the start, right? Is that they were like, we're beating them out of Imperium Nihilus. We're holding them back.
All
like,
but decimated at Baal.
I was like, when? Right? In all the books, right? Abaddon is just strolling into places, and like he just walks into a room full of people. He just pushes them over. I'm in charge now. Thanks.
But I don't think.
And then when the rift opened, half the Space Marine Firstborn chapters just fell to chaos.
But did you watch like the whole thing with Gulliman talking about how well they're doing, and at the end all the planets just turn red?
To Tyranids, not chaos, right? Right. Do you remember when 8th edition first came out and they did the battle for the 500 worlds, the Fallen McCrag, or whatever it was, right? Right. It was a global campaign, right? And it was a countdown to whatever, I can't remember, right? In the global campaign map, right? Like 1 day to go, the Imperium part of the map is this tiny little pinprick of a dot. Everything else, red. Right? Red everywhere. Chaos is just wiping the floor with everyone. Midnight comes, they're doing it. Imperium wins! How? They just Simon Cowed us, you know? He just chose their favourite.
I mean, to be fair, if you listen to the words that Gulliman's saying in that video, he actually sounds kind of broken now.
He's not so happy.
He's not having a great time.
No.
And I don't know if he's going to be happy to see his brother or like, oh, for fuck's sake.
The problem about the narrative, I think I like about the current narrative for 40k is that Gilliman is very much in support of the Custodes. He doesn't like the fact that the Ecclesiarch exists, that he hates the fact that everyone worships the Emperor as a god, but he realises that he still needs it as a tool to control them for stuff to happen, so he lets it go.
Greenblood says, Gilliman said, we can't win with lies, saying the winning was always propaganda.
Yeah.
There you go. Right, so James Hobbs, thank you for the donation, you're a hero. GWB Trolling have woken up to see a Lion model, good format for 10th, and I don't have to replace 65 Terminators.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't sound like typical Games Workshop. Can you just quickly check on that computer, because it went I want to make sure we're still connected.
It's not the 1st of April yet.
Yeah. OBS still green?
Green.
Yeah, cool, okay.
Excellent connection.
I heard it make a noise, which normally means OBS is having a shit fit, so cool. That's a noise if you didn't hear it.
Okay, good.
All right, thank you, Sticky Monkey. Joe has never been more wrong on an opinion than he was on the bear head. The bear head? Which bear head? Oh, for the lion? Yes, you're wrong. See? Sticky Monkey agrees and he paid to agree, so you're wrong. The bear head is cool.
It's not as good as the...
It's almost like a blonde version of you clown, anyway. You could paint that brown hair, it'd be your head.
If it was more Captain Price from Call of Duty, I'd be happier.
Taylor, thank you for the donation. Tabletop Titans last night said they want Old Man Russ next. Give me Thor at the end of Infinity War, mix with Odin and take all my money. I would have man-fat everywhere.
Do you know what I want them to do with Russ, right? I want them to turn him into a demon Primark.
No. Russ just needs to come out as this badass space Viking.
No.
No. I'll hear none of it, Jake.
He needs to come out as a demon Primark. I just think that because one of them's got to go rogue, right? You can't have this perfect happy ending. Either someone's dying, or someone's got to go bad. You know.
I mean, to be honest with you, mate, they'll have whatever ending sells the most models.
I suppose so. What they will do, and I can confirm this as a fact, is they'll bring Jagatai Khan back, and he'll be on foot.
I mean, that's definitely a GW thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Taylor, anyway. You're a hero. The Milk 14, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Skull Tier, you legend. Monarch, still holding out hope for new Red Butchers, maybe 12th edition.
2 more editions away.
I don't. First of all, again, massive thank you for your first ever super chat. You're a hero. YouTube tells me now when these people put in their first ever super chats. Love you very dearly. I think at the moment, just let it go. Like everyone goes, oh, like some people said to me, oh, they'll announce Wave 2 of World Eaters. Like, do you know Games Workshop? They're not going to do that 2 months after.
You've just got to be Elsa. I'll let it go.
Yes. If we're going to see Wave 2 of World Eaters, maybe a year, 2 years. But I'm not sold. We have had it happen in the past.
Well,
it has happened.
If you look at any new release of any new edition, whatever armies come in the box set tend to get priority for a good couple of months, right? After the release, because they're always constantly pushing the release. But at the same time, they still have to have a couple weeks of AOS. They still need to do Shadespire. They need to do Titanicus, Blood Bowl.
Yeah, 40k's not their only product, ultimately.
So they still need to slip all the other stuff in.
But thank you, Monarch, for your super chat anyway. I think we'll get Red Butchers in the future. I do genuinely believe we will, but I don't think it will be soon. Thank you again, the Milk 14, who's now super chatted. What's your predictions for Chaos and Imperial Knights?
Don't have models.
So Chaos, I actually get excited about the concept of, and I know this isn't something that massively excites you because of what you'd have to paint to do this, but I get excited about the potential to be able to field Chaos as Chaos is perceived in the lore. So narratively, Chaos isn't actually majority Space Marines and Power Armor. No. Chaos is Beastmen, and it's humans, and it's cultists.
Well, I like the idea of like humans and cultists. Like you'd have like a 20-man block of cultists led by one Space Marine.
Yeah.
And
I want him to be as strong as 4 or 5 actual Imperial Space Marines.
And he's a house.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Or if you've got a whole army of Chaos, you've got a whole army of cultists and beastmen. You've got a couple like rhinos and the odd squad or two of Chaos Space Marines. But then there's just one Chaos Lord stood in the middle who is not the equivalent of what Abaddon is now, but he is someone you need to avoid. Yeah. Because he will cause you problems.
Yeah.
I think that's what Chaos... They kind of stepped into it when the new Chaos book came out. Your normal models are good. So they're okay. In terms of the characters, just tear face.
Yeah, in terms of actual predictions, I feel like Chaos Terminators will become frightening again, which will make Joe very happy, and Abaddon will be terrifying. So I think in that regard, we're gonna because imagine they've said they brought the AP all the way down again.
Yeah.
So 2+ armor is finally going to feel tough again.
Yeah.
Right. So Terminators will be terrifying. The vehicles, like, we don't typically see tons of demon engines, but again, they've said tanks and vehicles are more durable, so maybe you'll see some improvements in those as well.
I'd like to see updates or replacements for the current Chaos vehicle line. Because apart from demon engines,
nothing's actually Chaos.
Nothing's so like rhinos are just a normal rhino with a different tank tread.
Yeah.
Land Raiders are the same for Predators. It's just an Imperial one with some garden railing on it.
In terms of Imperial Knights, I don't know if this is as much of a prediction as a wish, but again, looking at the fact that they said that vehicles will be more durable, I want a big stompy knight to be terrifyingly tough to deal with.
Like, I want knights to... So one rule I want to see more information on is objective control, right? Because currently... one guardsman cowering in a cardboard box behind a wall holds an objective over 10 Terminators, right? That shouldn't happen, so the objective control should be a thing. But then that should stack. So 10 Terminators could be an objective, but that knight should hold it over them.
Yeah,
because they're busy trying to not get stomped on.
So my prediction for knights, if they do things right, is that they'll be significantly more tough to kill, but they're going to struggle to hold multiple objectives. So at the moment, no one's worried about knights, right? Knight player rocks up, you go, knight dead, knight dead, knight dead, deal with some armagers, I hold all the objectives, I win.
I played a night guy the other day at the RTT. Gabriel Seth just soloed a big knight on his own.
Yeah.
Just went in, 30 damage, which he should... it's cool that he did that, and in the books, he's a very, very angry boy. But on the tabletop... I've paid like 100 points of my character. That's 400 points of knight. That's a big field bats.
So I feel like my prediction for knights is they might not be so great at holding objectives, and I don't think you're going to want to necessarily lean into so many armagers, and you'll be more killy, but you'll be more durable as well. So there's that balance between I can kill you and you can't kill me, but I can't hold as many objectives, and that kind of balances it.
I'd like to see like with space Chaos Space Marines, you can't have more units of cultists than you can Space Marines, right? So I'd like to see there to be a rule of you can't have more than 2 armagers for every big knight.
Oh, I like that. Yeah,
because they're like the little helpers. They're like the guard dogs of the royalty. I don't want to have just an army of these little munchkins running around.
I agree. Steady Breck, thank you for the donation. Narratively, is AP still wrong? Fleshborer of 0 AP should tear through guardsmen but go nowhere against Terminators. Hard to write rules for. Now, I mean, you've summed it up, mate, with the last 5 words, and I agree with you entirely. So, should a Fleshborer, should a guardsman have a 5+ flak armor save against a Fleshborer? Arguably not. No, he shouldn't. Right? However, writing rules for that to be like, so then in that regards, Fleshborers would just eat a guardsman, so there should be AP2. But then they fuck Terminators, and they shouldn't fuck Terminators because Terminator armor.
Yeah.
So how do you get that balance?
Yeah,
and some people go, well, you make them -1 because it's in the middle, and then you start the arms race.
Yeah.
So you could put a rule in there that says like Fleshborers against 1 wound models have AP2, but then you're adding the complexity.
Yeah.
Honestly, narratively it might still be wrong, but I think we're in the right place from a rules perspective.
If you look at it, if you think about it, a bolt gun versus anything with flesh
should just annihilate it.
Would be -4, but then. Bolt guns are actually incredibly effective versus actual power armor. They say in the book that bolt guns are terrible for killing Space Marines. So that because it just pings off the armor. So at that point, it's like, how do you then make it comparatively weaker versus armored units?
Yeah, see, bolt guns, interestingly, is the one where I would keep it at -1.
Yeah,
honestly, because they're bolt guns, right? Anyway, so yeah, I think you're probably right about it not narrative being quite right. But I also think you've just hit the nail on the head with it's hard to write a rule for. I don't think they get it right. I think they tried to do that in this last edition, and I think that's created this arms race, and I think that's why I'm happier that they'll go back to AP nothing. Shield Captain Tiddles, great name, thank you for the donation. How you think Death Guard will change? Will it go back to being like it was in 8th edition? Well, considering that they've said, so 8th edition, I don't think it will go back to 8th edition. 8th edition, they were tougher, they had more wounds, and they had the 5+ for no pain. So there was bloat in how you made them feel tough. Yeah. They've said they're simplifying the rules and speeding the game up. So no, I don't think it will go back to 8th edition in terms of how it works, but I do think they're going to try and make them as durable as they should be.
If they're bringing universal special rules, because the last 2 editions there's been no universal special rules, but there are lots of things that function within armies that are the same as what universal special rules were.
Yeah.
So like anything that gives you a save after your armor save, everyone just calls feel no pain.
But giving an army-wide feel no pain, I don't feel like is the way it's going to work.
In Old Chaos Space Marines, when you had marks, it was super simple, and I kind of wish they kept it at that.
Yeah.
Mark of Khorne +1 attack, Mark of Sinesh +1 initiative, Mark of Nurgle +1 toughness, and Mark of Zeech gave you a 6+ invulnerable save. If you had an invulnerable save, it was +1 to whatever the invulnerable save was, right? So they might go down that route where Nurgle is just +1 toughness. Normal Space Marines toughness 4.
I don't think we're going to get finished at 3, Joe, at this rate.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll just pour some pebbles on the table. And
You've still got Banshees to fix. No, and I don't disagree with you. And like we said at the start of the stream, right? Twin linked is a sign that perhaps universal special rules are coming back. But I still think giving army-wide feel no pain would be a bad thing because it still slows everything down.
Yeah.
So the one thing I did like about the -1 damage, at least for Death Guard, is it didn't necessarily slow it down.
Yeah, I like the idea of, like, because they've not mentioned about what's staying. They've added what's kind of coming in, but I'd like, like we said, less re-rolls, but more +1 and more -1.
I don't mind re-rolls. If a character joins a unit and that's the only one that gets the re-rolls, I'm okay with it.
Well, that so a unit only used to get re-rolls from a character if he conferred prefer enemy.
Yeah.
And that's only against one thing.
Yeah.
So Deathwatch had preferred enemy Xenos. So if you played any Imperial players, you just never got the re-roll versus them.
But yeah, I don't think it will go quite back to being like it was in 8th, if I'm honest with you, because they've said they're going to streamline, and I don't feel like that was typically streamlined with the 5+ for no pain across the whole army, and it's messy and it's long-winded. Now, they've removed the psychic phase, they've removed the morale phase, they're making a if we can get to a point that without a 2-turn tabling, we're playing 5-turn games in less than 2 hours, that's a beautiful place for the hobby to be.
That's so good.
That's a really nice place for the hobby to be.
Because you bought, built and painted this army, watching it just evaporate is soul destroying.
And still end up playing a 3-hour game because there's so many rules.
Yeah.
Right? Rhino, thank you for the massive donation, you legend. Love you both. I'm so happy to see you both excited for 10th. It's infectious. This is the happiest I've been in the hobby for a very long time. It's been a rough week this last week, and today has just cheered me up. He says it's infectious. GW might be actually getting this right. Dinner is on me. We will take that, thank you. I think they are. I mean, I'm conscious they've only given us the stuff that they want us to see, but I haven't got a negative word to say about it.
It's still day one. We're literally 10 hours in since it was announced. So it's only been 10 hours since that was announced, and they've said that there's the new website. Obviously, got Warhammer Community, and they said that new information will come daily, and they've got to spread this information out for the next 3 months.
I'm so excited, though, Joe.
So imagine it's going to be drip fed.
Yeah,
right? Maybe.
I don't, but again, the core framework they've shown us has mean like there's nothing about this is really rare from me, people, especially lately. There is nothing about what they've shown me that makes me go, oh, I don't really like that.
Actually, what they did for 9th edition is they had a month of here's the rules. This is how the rules work. This is how the game will now be played. And then once a week for the remaining weeks, they then released a thing. I can't remember what day it was on. They're like, here is how Drakari works in the new edition. Here is examples how some of the units work. Next week, here is how Tyranids work. Next week, here's Orcs work. So it might be something like that. But I feel sorry for whoever the last person is because they have to wait the longest. But that is how they will probably put the information out.
If you get sad, tough. This is good. Just be happy, right?
Yeah.
We're happy again, people. Yeah. This is a happy time, right? Boris, true losers of 10th, people that bought 30 Terminators.
I would never be sad about owning 30 Terminators.
Yeah, yours are all chaos, so you're okay, actually.
Yeah.
Poor old Brom.
Yeah, I feel sorry for those people that have just gone out and bought loads of the old school Terminators to convert into Deathwing.
Do we think the Deathwing in the Vashtor box... Okay, very quick question, because we're running out of time. In fact, we're out of time, but I need to get through everyone's super chats. Do we think Deathwing Terminators in Vashtor box is an attempt to shift the stock because they know they're bringing new Deathwing Terminators?
I don't think it will go. I reckon they'll stay.
You reckon?
Right, so currently, available on the Games Workshop website are 3 units of Terminators, faction-specific ones. Deathwing, which are available in Games Workshop stores and third parties, and they've just put it in the new box set with Vashtor and Azure. I reckon they'll stay because they've said that Terminators are just Terminators, aren't they? And they still sell Cataphracti and they still sell Tartarus. So those things still exist within the lore, right? So, like, these guys still own and they still wear the original suits of Terminator armour.
This gives me a problem though, Joe.
What's that?
I'm going to have to buy a box of Deathwing Terminators and a box of new Terminators and use the new Terminator bodies, the hooded heads, and the Deathwing arms.
That's a you problem. But then you've got the Space Wolf Terminators, which were released in 2004.
Yeah, they're quite old, aren't they? They're not even a great model set either.
But you see some of them painted really nicely, and they kind of stand up. When they're painted badly or not painted at all, you're like, ooh, not great. And then you've got the Blood Angels Terminator box set, which is actually direct order only for some reason.
Yeah,
I reckon Space Wolves and Blood Angels will go.
Oh, okay.
Right, I reckon the Deathwing will stay because they are the only chapter-specific Terminator unit. No one else has a chapter-specific.
Yeah, they're just Terminators, but with some iconography.
Yeah. So we might potentially see upgrade packs.
Maybe.
So you know how the current upgrade packs for Primaris are Primaris shoulder pads.
I mean, I'd be okay with that.
And then your Aggressor shoulder pads.
Better than nothing.
They might do the same for Terminators.
Yeah. J Touch, thank you so much for joining the channel as a Skull tier. You're a hero. If any of you have got new memberships today, make sure you ! Discord, come and join us in the Great Hall. That is what you get for your membership. You're all amazing people. The Discord server in the last week has started fucking bouncing. There's tons of people in there. Yeah. It's amazing. Thank you so much. You guys are all incredible. War Master Will, hope Huron doesn't go the way of no model, no rules. I hope he doesn't as well, Will.
I don't think he'll go because Red Corsairs are in the new Dawn of Fire series.
Yeah, I think you'll probably see a new model at some point. I know you keep wanting one. I don't know how quick but I think you'll get it at some point. Corax is the Imperial Demon Primark. And where's my pre-ordered World Eaters Codex? Sucks to live in New Zealand when it comes to Warhammer. I want the cards and app. The thing is, Benjamin, you managed to get your reveals at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So, suck it up.
Yeah,
win some, lose some. Win some, lose some.
I mean, you might have been asleep when they got released. Just having a nap.
Rubber Clock, given 10th is now announced, we are getting the Old World for Warhammer Fest. So again, thank you so much for your first ever super chat to the channel. You're a hero. Some people told me last night that Old World is scheduled for 2024. I want it sooner rather than later.
I think it's a long wait because they're so the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Empire guys, that army's, they've only shown off 3 complete models from that entire range. And then the old world, they've announced they're redoing Protonians, they're redoing Tombkit, they're redoing all the armies from Fantasy. So that's
I think it's a way off.
I reckon that's a way off. Warhammer Fest, I would imagine, will be the first time we can play it.
Yes, 100%. 100% that's what will happen.
Because when 8th edition dropped, I was at the last Warhammer Fest of 7th edition. They ran a big GT, and they had a big hall where you could go in and play the new edition.
Think Horus Heresy last year.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. Warhammer Fest will be where you can play 10th edition. That will be where you'll first... I wouldn't be surprised if that's where some of the things you can get your hands on for the first time. Who knows? But I don't think we'll see Old World.
What I will ask, though, at Warhammer Fest is that the people doing the intro games know the rules. Because when we did it for 8th edition, we were stood there, they gave us our cards, and the guys teaching us were like, just read the cards.
9th edition has been out for like nearly 3 years, and the people that make battle reports for their channel don't know the rules. So I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. Right, so, but thank you for your first ever Super Chat. You're a hero. I don't think we'll see Old World this year. I'm happy to be wrong about that one, but at the moment, with the way 10th edition is looking, I actually don't care about any other gaming system right now.
Well, I'm with you. I really like the fantasy models.
I know, I love the fantasy models. I do. I love the fantasy setting. Stroke and Goatee Gaming, thank you for the donation. They have said some vehicles will have toughness 11. I'm excited for the Lion and 10th. I want Rogal Dawn to come out. Once again, love you guys and thank you for all you do. Stroke and Goatee Gaming is a legend, by the way.
Yeah.
He's also subscribed to the gaming channel, link in the video description below if you want to watch Joe and I play some games like Call of Duty. He's subscribed to that. He comments on all the videos. He watches them all on playback as well to give us watch time. And now he's super chatting on this channel as well.
Liam, if all the concurrent viewers that are currently watching all went over to the gaming channel and pressed sub and then came back, we'd get over 1,000.
We probably wouldn't, mate, because half the people in here are probably already subbed.
Oh, you're too efficient, you people. Right.
David Gaither then gifted 10 finest memberships. Oh, by the way, Rogal Dawn, people give him a lot of stick. I'd love to see a Rogal Dawn Primark model for 10th edition. Oh, not for 10th edition, for Warhammer 40k.
Because he'd be armless. No.
I think he'd be amazing. We just give him mechanical arms and then he's secretly an Iron Hand or Iron Warrior.
Well, you know that we're not going to get Sanguinus and we're not going to get Ferrus.
I wouldn't say we're not, though. Like, do not underestimate GW's ability to retcon narrative.
So, in the not the Black Legion, the Talon of Horus, Fabius Bile, is basically cloning all the Primarchs.
There's a little part of me that thinks we're going to have Angron, Fulgrim, Mortarion Magnus.
Because that's the 4 gods of chaos.
Gulliman.
Yeah.
The Lion.
Yeah.
Jagati Khan. Russ. That's what I think. That's the 4 we'll get.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I'm probably wrong.
The thing is, I want them to do all. You either do all of them apart from the ones that are dead, because obviously Nighthaunter's dead as well because he got killed by that assassin.
Yeah.
Joe had quite like to see who would have, but they'd have to make some super cool rules on how he actually affects the table as a whole. Is Alfarius.
Ugh.
Like he's like, oh, I went around and I put loads of water in your petrol tanks and none of your vehicles work anymore.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. I'm also excited for vehicles having things like toughness 11 and stuff like that and being actually durable. I think that's quite cool. Because at the moment, toughness 8 Russes feel better. They're still not as tough as I think they probably should be as a giant battle tank. David, thank you for gifting 10 memberships. You're a legend. Guys, make sure you get yourself in Discord and come and hang out in our members-only streams, members-only chat streams. Neil, instead of moving AP up or down, change the number of shots, give Flesh Borers 4 dice, give Bolters 5 dice, Power Armor gets +1, Termes +2. Neil, I love you. Thank you for the donation. I have to be honest, I can't disagree with you more. So what wins 40k right now? Weight of dice, right? Yeah. You don't care about AP, really. You don't care about strength. You just care about weight of dice. If we go down this path, you end up with a unit of 10 Flesh Borers, 50 dice throwing at your opponent. Nah, don't want that. No. And then +1 to save for this and +2 to save for that. Don't want that. Yeah, it's adding in layers of complexity which they're actively trying to strip out. So that the reason why they've moved strength, weapon skill and ballistic skill to the weapon profile is so that they don't have to say that you're -1 with a power fist.
Maybe that's why all the dice packs have gone down to 15.
I mean, I'm okay with rolling less dice. I think it's good. Yeah. I think it's a positive change. I like rolling dice. I want to roll less. I hate the days of, like, I was doing this last night with Dire Avengers, not last night, with Dire Avengers, right? 33 shots with 10 Dire Avengers, re-rolling all hits, re-rolling all... I hate it.
I don't think any unit should put out more than 20 shots. So 10 tactical marines rapid firing, or 10 intercessors rapid firing, that's 20 shots. 5 terminators, that's 20 shots. I made an army in 7th edition that never required more than 12 dice.
That's my happy place.
Yeah.
I want less dice. I want to get rid of all the math stuff that exists. So I don't want to go +1 strength or like the days of, I mean, Armour of Contempt was the worst as well. I'm -2 AP, but you ignore the first pip of AP, but you're in cover, but I fired out of line. Oh, fuck off.
With
it's
universal
just nonsense.
special rules, I feel like they need to finally figure out fight first, fight last.
So
My
this
unit's
is
got to fight first. Your unit's got to fight first, but it's my turn. I swing first.
So this is the one thing that I am actually sad about, but not sad about. Like, it's the thing that I really hope they would do, but I'm also not surprised they didn't, is I really wanted to see initiative back, because I preferred initiative in the past. They haven't got it. I don't think they're ever going to go back to that system. That's definitely a heresy mechanic, so the mechanic still exists. I'm a little bit sad because I wanted it, but we haven't had it for the last 2 editions. But you're right. They need to simplify fights first, fights last. Again, another rule that came out. And then what they've done from 8th edition with AP, with rules like fights first and fights last, with Feel No Pains, they've gone layer. Before you know it, you've got to refer to 6 different things to work out who goes first, who goes second. Simplify it.
I don't think there should be any units that give out fight last. So if you charge me, I make you fight last. And what there should be is a case of a unit is inbuilt. So before, Power Fists used to be initiative 1 because you're really slow swinging it. So that unit just has flat fight last kind of thing. But Terminator's really tough, so that levels out the whole thing.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't like the fights last mechanic, and when you charge in is a feel bad moment, so I don't like it. Monarch, thank you for upgrading to Jarl. You're also a legend. All the people that upgraded today, you're legends. We've now got to the end finally of the super chats. You're amazing, Jesus Christ, right? Oh my Lord. Yeah. We're 12 minutes over the intended schedule, but I wanted to get through all of that. It is an exciting day. There is some exciting news. There will be more opportunity to ask questions, more opportunity to talk about this stuff tonight, because Joe and I will be live at 7:30 tonight playing 9th edition. We still have to play 9th edition right now. I'm going to run the Eldar. You're going to run Tyranids.
I am, yeah.
Because we saw Tyranids on the announcement today, so we're going to Tyranids versus Eldar.
Screw the killers, ho!
Right. So you can come and hang out with us at 7:30 tonight if you want to. Luce will be on the deck, so be gentle with your super chats. Try not to give too many abbreviations and stuff because she won't understand it. So be kind, but you can hang out with us tonight. If every single one of you in chat hasn't already, please make sure you smash that magical like button for us. We've got 535 people in chat and 437 likes already. Just smash that like if you feel like it. If you've hated the stream, obviously don't smash the like. You can hit the dislike if you really didn't like it. But thank you so much for hanging out with us today on this Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to all the donators in the super chat. Big shout out goes to Rhino and John McCardle with some massive donations in there today. You guys are incredible.
Do we just start calling him Daddy?
Literally putting food on our table, so I appreciate it. Welcome to all the new members. Come and join us. And Joe is very desperate for our gaming channel to hit that 100 sub mark.
I do.
1,000 sub mark.
1,000. Yeah.
So if you have spare 5 seconds at the end of the thing, you haven't already, and you are interested in gaming content, if you're not interested, don't do it. Head into the video description below, click the link for the gaming channel, hit subscribe. If you don't like gaming channels, don't hit subscribe because you won't watch the content and that doesn't help us.
It's not just us two anymore, though, is it?
Big Bad War Hipster's in there now as well.
It's 3 bearded men.
Yeah, and Brom sometimes.
Sometimes sat in their pants playing computer games.
Often sat in their pants.
Yeah.
So I hope you come and join us tonight at 7:30, you bunch of absolute legends. Anything you want to say? Oh my God, there's another super chat come through. In one of the Horus Heresy Doubles, thank you, Stroke and Gaming, you're here. In one of the Horus Heresy Doubles, the Emperor brought Ferris Manus back as a Legion of the Damned. Might be a way to bring back dead Primarchs. Thanks again. I will always support you guys. We love you.
I want them to come back like those weird.
There is a little
like the weird cloned ones that you see in movies where they're all a bit lumpen.
There is a little part of me that just kind of thinks, I know the narrative, it doesn't work, but just bring them all back. Just let us play with Primark. Why do some people play Heresy? Because they want to play with their Primark. So just find a way of bringing them all back. There's a little part of me that thinks that.
Now what they do is they bring back the dead ones, but they're like the see-through Frodo model from Lord of the Rings, where he's invisible.
Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody. You're all heroes. We love you very, very dearly. Come and hang out with us tonight at 7:30, please. You're amazing people. Anything you want to say, Joe, before we disappear?
I've had a lovely time.
Been a good stream. This is the most positive I've been about the hobby in a very long time.
My face doesn't show it very often, but I am actually very, very excited.
No, exclamation mark, Sanjay. No, I am super excited. I am bouncing at the moment. I'm so happy. My throat's fucked as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful time.